Welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura if you're new to the channel, and anything of any importance and relevance to the channel, that is, you can find in the description box below. All important links, website link, Patreon link, all that good stuff, and always directions to how to enter into winning a free reading with me. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. And the word video always comes from my Psychic Soul Healer deck. This deck comes with a shadow healing oracle book that has over 100 different shadow healing exercises, not just spiritual exercises, but psychological and therapy type exercises like reframing exercises and reparenting exercises to help you heal your inner child, to help you dive deep within yourself, to heal the effects of trauma. Now, my readings go deep too, but if you're new to the channel, I like to always put this out here in the beginning, that I don't just look and see what's going on within your situation and how your person feels, but I like to look at the spiritual blocks. I like to see how they play out karmically. That'll help you navigate your relationship a little bit better. So the word is intuition, intuition. This is also the underlying energy to your reading. So you're going to write intuition in the comment bar if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me. You'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath. If I did, well, we just correspond back and forth on YouTube, figure out the best day and time that works for the both of us. And the day of your reading, I'll post a link right underneath our comments. So when I'm tapping into the word intuition, I'm feeling like you have a strong intuitive bond with someone else. And I'm feeling like your person doesn't know how to communicate to you. They have a real spiritual block in communicating. So a lot that they, how they'd like to navigate a relationship is they like to try to intuitively figure out what you're doing, is what I feel, Virgo. Like they're not comfortable in being able to express their feelings. They're not emotionally intelligent. They're not strong within themselves. And so they come more from a very logical and analytical standpoint, and they have wounds on top of it. So when a person has a lot of spiritual blocks around relationships, they tend to be afraid to be vulnerable. They're afraid to show their emotions. And so the problem is that if a person is just intuitively trying to tap in to see what you're feeling, and they're not having conversation, and their perception is being filtered through a wound, then their perception of what you're doing is distorted. Their perception of how they're viewing themselves is distorted, and their habits and their behaviorisms are going to be in alignment with these imbalances. So even though that there's a strong spiritual connection, I feel as if your person only winds up dating real people that do all the work, people that they don't really have to express themselves. But in that, they've become very lazy. They've become very they don't put in any effort in their relationship. So the relationships only turn out to be toxic. This is the energy that I'm feeling. We're going to see now how that little scenario is playing out karmically and what they're going to do. Now, like I said, we're also going to look and see why you would connect to somebody that doesn't know how to communicate. Is it because you don't know how to communicate? Is it because you don't feel comfortable being vulnerable? What is the spiritual lesson that you need to learn? Otherwise, you're going to always attract the same type of person to you. And so in order to integrate the spiritual lesson, you have to understand, how are you sabotaging the connection? I don't know. I feel lost without you. So again, the person has a big ego and they want to come back into your life. And they wouldn't be so focused intuitively on what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and read into every little thing if they didn't have feelings. I feel like you made them feel safe, and not even because I feel like this person gave you a lot of time. I feel like every time you talk to this person, you talk to them about substance. You talk to them about things that matter. Like, it wasn't just flirting, blowing smoke up this person's ass. It wasn't like where you were just stroking their ego to try and get something. This person is used to dating low vibe people where they don't have to put in effort. So with you, it's your approach to dating is a lot different. Your approach to relationships just in general is different. I feel like you come from a very spiritual perspective, such as I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. I know the whole point of why I want to connect to a person is not because I want them to fix me. I want them to contribute to my life, and add to my life, but I don't need them. Where I feel like your person looks at people almost as what they could do for them a little bit. And they don't think that they have to do anything. And that is what got them in this situation. And I know I said that before and I channeled it again, betrayal. And it's like their behaviorisms are that. They come in and they act. There's a lot of lip service, but there's no real action. And I feel like they're ashamed of how they treated you. But this is the way that they're used to navigating. There is someone keeping me from you. So it's, again, a lot of like low vibe people that hold space for your person. So they don't really have to come to you. Like, it takes character, it takes strength, it takes really knowing what you want and making a decision and following through. Your person acts as if somebody else is keeping them. No one can keep anyone from anybody. That's I'm afraid to leave. And I'm afraid to leave because I don't never really have a conversation with you. I don't really take the time to get to know you. So intuitively, you don't really show me anything. So I'm not really strong enough to do that. And like, this person wants like a slam dunk is what I feel, but it's not because they don't like you or have feelings for you. It's because they're always like afraid to put themselves out there. So understand, they're so afraid to have someone manipulate their life, but meanwhile someone's manipulating their life. Because if you don't put yourself out there, then you never really make a decision one way or the other. So this is their way of being like, well, then if I don't have to commit, if I don't like it, I can bail out. But then if that's how you're entering into a relationship, you're never going to make anything happen because the focus is on, if there's a problem, I need to bail out. So that means you're looking for problems and you're not grounded, you're not present. So that your person's all up in their head. And because they're all up in their head, it's creating a lot of emotional imbalance because they feel bad about what they did. They feel bad about playing games. They realize what it looks like, but there's a sense of that they still don't want to come to you and admit it. They don't want to seem vulnerable. They don't want to seem, so it's really like a karmic relationship. And I say this because they could feel the connection and they have a connection. And they don't have a connection to anyone usually. And I'm saying that because if they can let like straggly people just hold space for them where they come in and out, it's like they're departmentalizing a relationship. And maybe that's, I go to work, I have friends, And then I have this person that I have sex with, so I'm getting my emotional needs met that way. And it's really, like they said, departmentalized, where this person is detached. And they're detached because they have a really low self-esteem and they don't communicate. And when a person, like I said, is tapping in to their intuition and they're not healed, it's not a good thing, because they don't realize that they're mainly listening to what their fear is, the overriding, the emotion that is the underlining belief instead of the higher self. So, and that only causes them to overthink, 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 overthink. So it's just easier to let other people do the work. I want a new beginning with you. So, I mean, I think that they do hold that in the back of their head, to be honest with you. I just don't see action. I see a lot of ungrounded action. When a person is in their body, when they're in the moment, they're in the now, that's when they're leading by their intuition and there's action behind it. This person's all over the place. So what I'm really feeling is that this person is going to come in super fast and on a day like that you don't expect, a day that you're like, you're in a good space, you're not thinking about this person, you let it go, and this person comes in like that. And it's because they're suppressing their emotions. They don't want to seem vulnerable. They don't want to reach out, I'm feeling, either. There's a sense of that. But their emotions are getting the best of them because they have so much suppression going on that, you know, and you can't control how you feel. This journey is teaching us one of the most important spiritual lessons, patience. I feel like if this is your soulmate and you do have feelings, I'm not there yet, we don't see it, and I'm sure for collectively some of you are and some of you know. So I will read for those of you that do want to pursue this, even though it's been a difficult journey. It's like, it's difficult because it does require patience, but it's also, I'm feeling like a lot of times we care about the unfoldment process. We care about how things look. Your person has feelings, but they're wounded. So they're all over the place. Like I said, they're suppressing their emotions. This is new, that they actually have to feel and do work and figure it out. And so there's a part of them that doesn't think that they can do it. I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive. Are you? So your person can feel that this is a spiritual connection. They might not label it a spiritual connection because they might not know, but they know that you're teaching them something. They know that you're supposed to be in their life. They can feel that your energy is much different than the people that they have been spending their time with. They also, you have made them look at themselves a lot. And I'm feeling like obviously one of your spiritual lessons, Virgo, is patience, because this process is taking a long time. I'm feeling controlled by people around me and I don't like it. See, it's pushing me to find my power again. So this is what I'm telling you, like, you live more from your authentic self. This person like doesn't put that much effort in to anything when it comes to their social engagements, and it's mainly because they don't trust themselves. Now, I'm not saying that they don't come across cocky. Remember, when a person's insecure, they will wear a mask, the persona, and the persona will be like almost confident, and you're looking at the person like, how can you be so confident? How can you be so arrogant? How can you be? Well, that's an over compensation. They are overcompensated for the lack that they feel. This is a second chakra imbalance. They're not coming from a balanced place. Remember, the second chakra is your unique individuality. It's how you perceive yourself. That your person doesn't perceive themselves in a good light. So they give too much power to other people. And then when they want change, or when they need to like do something, they don't do it. And they hope that somebody else will do it. And usually they hold out. Now they're come across as they're being really, really strong, almost like arrogant and like don't care. But the truth of the matter is, underneath that facade is that they're terrified. They're terrified that you're not going to do something. You or you. Yeah, that my or your children need to come first, or our inner children need to come first. So I'm feeling like for those of you, and that's probably for both. And it's probably even for both situations, meaning you may have children and your children need to come before the relationship to create some sort of balance. And that's because they need to do the same and that will create a balance within inside themselves, obviously. But I'm also feeling the balance that needs to happen is the integration of childhood wounds. And sometimes what I find is that the universe tends to bring us children or have children if we're really tend to give too much of our time and energy to our relationship, and where we keep on reliving patterns of feeling undervalued because we give too much in our relationship. So if you have a child and you meet this person and you give your child the attention and then your person attention after, it creates that little space. And it needs to be attention as in interacting with other parents, maybe. Like it creates another little outlet for you, because when we are in balance, we tend to overgive or undergive. So what we know is your person undergives. So if you have children, your children need to come first so that you make sure that you're taken care of, because this person tends to be a little bit selfish. And also your inner child needs to be healed. So if this person's not giving you anything and it's a wound that came up from being with this person, meaning you got triggered from being with this person because they didn't act right. They were insecure. They pretended to be someone that they weren't. They truly do have feelings. It's not that they don't, but the inadequacy that they feel. And that's why I'm saying their inner child needs to be healed. But you also need to ask yourself, why would you connect with somebody that wasn't capable? We always have to ask ourselves that question. Our inner children are crying out right now. We both need to comfort them and become their parents. So it's a time of reparenting. So, and the reparenting I'm believing for you is to give yourself emotionally what you need. And this person needs to open up their heart and give. They need to give. They need to like make a decision, step forward and give, because they're staying in this low vibe is making them feel worse about themselves and is keeping them up in their head, because they're so focused on what you're going to do and they're not reading it properly because they're not seeing everything through a clear perception. Like we see what we look for. So if we've gotten hurt in a situation, or we have a bad memory from an experience that we lived, if we get into a similar experience, part of the reptilian mind goes back to that same experience. And many times we handle the experience the same exact way. And that's how we repeat the same karmic theme that keeps us locked into a perception. So we don't want that. So I'm feeling like almost like this person has come into your life maybe not even to be in a relationship, but to awaken the deep healing that both you and this person need. And so unconditional love lets us do that. Unconditional love teaches us. So let's ask, since the reading's going this way, what does spirit want? Like, what is the inner child that needs to be integrated so that you don't keep connecting to people that are not on your vibration? Because this person was not on your vibration. They, again, were a player. They were a player. They were a player mainly because they felt really insecure. So that was a persona that they wanted people to perceive of them. And that's because they feel inadequate. So you have to say, why would you connect to a person that feels inadequate? What is the spiritual lesson that you're supposed to learn? Whoa, that just kind of just kind of flew out there. Okay, truth. So is one. So I automatically, when I see that card, is like, live your truth. Live your truth. Be true to you. So knowing that this person is not good for you, also getting down to your truth. Was this really about you? No, this person might have made you feel that it was about you, but it was about them. And so, naive. So I believe that when it's, like not, I'd say, really looking at your relationship and not just listening to what a person says. Because I feel like this person was a good talker. And I do feel like there was a connection. And it's just their way was to kind of, always give a little bit to the point that people would get aggravated and say, you know what, I feel the connection. It's like they're going to do a little bit. Let me move it a little bit faster. Let me come in and fix it. Let me do. And this is how they get people to do most of the work, but not realizing that they will never build an emotional connection with anybody because they don't really care. It's all about strategizing. It's all about protecting their heart. When meanwhile, they came in and out of your life. I believe that you were really friends with this person. Like you gave them like your heart in a way such as friendship, where you didn't expect anything. You kind of like kept your distance and observed them, let them come in and out. It's not that there wasn't a spiritual connection. This person just didn't want that type of connection. However, you have to get to a point where you're watching what they're doing and listening to what they're saying, and it didn't match up. So sometimes it's like knowing what your truth is, knowing and sticking to that, and not giving this person any more energy, thinking that someone's going to change because of the spiritual connection is the biggest like casualty here, to be honest with you, because the more time and the more focus and the more energy you give a person, even if it's just thinking about them, they're taking up space in your mind. Well, that's how big the wound is going to be. And this person never gave, they wanted that. They kept you hanging for a long time, being like, well, I'm going to make it uncomfortable. So it's, again, the problem is not that they're insecure. The problem is that they don't want to work on their insecurity. And instead, they play a lot of games. They manipulate. And there's a sense of, I feel like we're going to be together one time because I feel that connection. And so they're putting so much on the fact that there is a connection here, not paying attention to how you're like what they're really doing, that they're damaging the connection. Like, and this is how people sabotage themselves. This is what winds up happening. So we say, like, I'll say, okay, well, what are they going to do? I'm going to pull just 2 cards to see what their hidden truth is. Because even if you choose to be with this person, you'd still need to teach this person how you want to be treated, okay? But let's see whether or not they're even coming from a high vibration, because they, they miss you. There needs to be a lot of healing. There is healing. We know at least that the purpose of this connection, at least one reason, was for healing. Now, if this person has a good intention, then you have something to work with. If they don't have a good intention, then there's nothing to work with. And then you need to just, again, say, what I needed to learn was these 2 things. I needed to learn, to like really stand in my truth and be clear about what it is that I want, and to notice whether or not someone's being respectful. And regardless of what a person says, I can't be naive about it. I have to be present. I have to be grounded. I have to know the facts. I have to incorporate also the logic in this, even though it's a relationship that's emotional. This person is so strategizing, and they're used to dealing with people that only look at relationships through like the emotion. And so all they needed to do was give lip service, and people believe it, but that's also a sign of someone that feels empty inside, that could give someone so little, and that's why kept him around. So this person just treated you like how they treated everyone else, and they never gave it enough time. So that's why they're in regret now, because they're like, I see who you are now. If I could do things different, I would, but you see who this person is. And I think that that's a blessing. I hid who I really am from you. And that's what I was saying the whole time. I said, this person like acts like an asshole, but thinking that that's that's showing strength. So I don't have feelings, when that's not really who you are. If anything, you're doing it like you're not showing strength. You're showing that you're a coward, because people that can show vulnerability and be soft as well shows strength. But this person, I believe, was conditioned in childhood to not show their emotions. I don't react when people mention you. See, this person is still stuck in their ego, and that's what I'm saying. It's like they're still like afraid, and that's what I'm saying. They don't want to do the work. So we say, you learned, again, what a person shows you is exactly who they are, regardless of what they say. And again, having to be true to yourself. A lot of times it's a karmic lesson. You would have passed this lesson. And the reason why is because you were like, no, I stood in my truth. That's why the person feels bad about it. Now, I believe that their ego is big, thinking that they can, when they come back into your life. But the thing is, when they come back into your life, you're not going to be the same person, is what I'm feeling. Goodness, I overcome my imperfections, polish my character, and I feed on the positive. I free myself, allow my goodness to manifest and become a source of joy. Through gentleness, I offer unconditional support, understanding, and love to myself and others. So this is all about you, again, needing to like heal the things that were blocking you from fully being able to step into your truth, into your goodness. Okay, the goodness of you is your gifts, is your purpose, it's your unique individuality. I believe that when we grow up in certain environments, we form behaviorisms and habits based on what has happened. And so somewhere in the somewhere in it, I believe that you weren't allowed to always do what was best for you, or maybe very sensitive sensitive people tend to feel and have great empathy for the people that are in their life, their family. So they overgive in their family, and then it's traumatizing when it's not reciprocated. And so what happens is that what I see here is that you took that overgiving, that quality that you were conditioned to learn how to do in childhood, because you got love and acceptance from giving and overgiving, played out within this situation. I just believe that you passed the karmic test because you saw the writing was on the wall. And this person, by the time that they figured out that you did, there's a sense that they would know that they would have to come back and really be humble and really give, and they're comfortable in being uncomfortable because they're not happy with how they're living, but they don't want to do all that work. So, and that's what I see there. They care a lot about what other people perceive, because again, they don't react when people mention your name because they want to act like they don't really care, and they hid who they are, and they still are hiding who they are. So unfortunately, just because tests come, like, we get people to come into our life to teach us, not all the time do we learn. We have free will to choose. However, I'm feeling like this situation created awareness for you of what you needed to heal. What you need to heal is, again, be true to yourself, be really true. And if somebody's not coming into your life that's going to really give you everything that you deserve, you don't give time to it. You give time to yourself to, again, polish yourself in every area of life. And you become like soft and softer, where you take care of yourself, but then you're also helping other people in your community or friends, and you're connecting to people. You become a source of unconditional support and love to wherever it's needed, is what I'm trying to get at. And that will feel you emotionally, and that will also make a way for the universe to bring you someone that's of a high quality, because this person is not of quality, and that's why they're karmic. They were karmic that taught you, and you taught them. But that's all that this situation looks like it was meant to be. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. I hope you resonated. If you did, let me know again, and you can write the word in your comment bar. It was intuition, which started off so positive. I feel like it started off so positive, and it really, the person was not positive, because again, and sometimes we need to take that into consideration ourselves. Like, if we are not healed, we have a lot of anxiety around something, we really should not just rely on our intuition to let us know, because we might not be able to read it as clear. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.